The Crescent Moon Club, in association with ABT, presents Omnibus Unlimited, a roundtable discussion of provocative subjects which must be addressed today. Radiovision for the 21st century and infotainment in its purest essence. Hello again, everyone. I'm Laurence Nobile, independent researcher and host of Omnibus Unlimited. Tonight, from our ABT studios in Dover, our topic for discussion is Medicine, the Missing Link. Joining us to address this subject is psychic healer and medical technician Tom Murray. Tom, thanks for being here this evening.
Good evening, Larry, and I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you, too. UFologist Dan Murray. Dan, thanks for being here this evening.
You're welcome, Larry.
Weathercaster Damon Nobile. Damon, thanks for being here this evening.
I don't feel so good.
And seeker and producer of Omnibus Unlimited, John Horrigan. John, thanks for having the show and being here this evening.
Thank you, Larry. Good evening, Tom, Dan, and Damon.
Our visual backdrop for tonight's show is provided by ABT. Gentlemen, medicine and the missing link. We've talked about medicine before in the past, and we've mentioned how doctors are often looked at in some mysterious way as being something larger than life, when in actuality they are quite simply highly skilled, highly paid technicians. And yet, throughout all of history, even to now, the 20th century and almost 21st century medicine, doctors are referred to as practicing medicine. They never seem to have a clear idea of what is actually going on. And unfortunately, I can speak with some experience on this since my father is now fading very quickly, and the doctors in the case just really don't know what the devil is going on. Tom Murray, psychic healer and medical technician, talk about medicine and the missing link. Where have we come from? Where are we at now? And where do we have to be in order to make medicine work for us?
Well, Larry, I think if you look at what's going on with the congressional issues as far as the health care packages being proposed at a national level, and you look around the world at different systems that are either in crises or have already fallen apart, and you look at the areas of the world that are suffering from starvation, malnutrition, and disease, the thought that by the 20th century disease, illness, and suffering would be eliminated is one of the great delusions of the 18th century. And as you mentioned, doctors are spoken of as practicing medicine, much as an artist practices their craft, a musician practices the piano. Medicine is not an exact science. And science, in fact, is not an exact science in which there is always a new breakthrough, new knowledge, new techniques, and new technology, which changes previous beliefs and previous systems. I think one of the biggest problems from a medical standpoint is, and I'm going to paraphrase this with a little quote. When I was working at Mass General Hospital, a patient was getting treatment, I forget what for, but mentioned to the doctor that they were saying that the patient also took herbs for their condition. And the doctor said, "Oh, those don't work." Now, having an Oriental life and studying the Oriental martial arts, I'm very familiar with the type of herbs that this person was consuming at that time. And these herbs have an effect on the body. In fact, most of the herbs that the person consumed were synthesized as drugs in the laboratories and prescribed by that same doctor. So it's my viewpoint that the doctor, out of his own ignorance, is contradicting himself.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that he snaps out, well, maybe not snaps out, but the snap response is, "Oh, those don't work." One would assume that if a medical doctor says this, makes a very confident reply like that, then one would assume that he has tested this, investigated this extensively, and found that they do not work. But in fact, has he probably tested this at all?
Well, if he's a practicing doctor in the hospital all day long and at his clinic, no, he's not a research doctor at all. He's not doing any research, and he's not even reading the literature on it. Because, for instance, Presbyterian Hospital in California has done extensive research on about 80% of the traditional medical herbs, some of whose formulas are over 3,000 years old, and they found them to be 85 to 90% effective. In fact, in retesting some of these herbs, they found that the Chinese acupuncturists perhaps overcooked some, and if they cut down on the cooking a little bit, the herb is even more effective. And as I say, a good example of that is the herb called ginseng. Ginseng grows wild in Tennessee, and the United States was shipping ginseng to China at the turn of the century. And today there's ginseng that is harvested in Tennessee, shipped to China, repackaged in China, and sold here in the United States as Chinese ginseng. Now, research that's been done at Harvard Medical School has shown that there's 22 active enzymes in ginseng, especially in Korean-type ginseng, which are helpful in modulating and lowering elevated blood pressure, in helping to regulate heart arrhythmia, and in balancing out and properly utilizing the hormonal balance of the body. So these 24 different enzymes in this herb, acting in conjunction with each other and with the enzymes in the body, produce a beneficial effect on the body. But it's the fact that you have these many different enzymes in that one plant. You can't manufacture that many enzymes in one pill.
Very interesting. Now, ginseng, one of the missing links to medicine. How would the average person, such as myself, just a regular guy, how would I take ginseng on either a daily or weekly or however you take it? How would I take ginseng in my daily life to make it work for me?
Well, I find it interesting that the medical profession today is suggesting to people that, well, one way to decrease the chance of having a heart attack is to take a daily aspirin. Now, what people don't realize is aspirin is an acid. Aspirin can lyse red blood cells, lyse blood cells. That means lyse or cut or break. And that's why people who have ulcers are recommended not to take aspirins. And the reason that Tylenol and other non-aspirin drugs were invented was because of the bad side effects from aspirin on the stomach and on other tissue lining. So here doctors, because people have fewer heart attacks when they have aspirin, are recommending people to take it. I don't plan on having a heart attack. I run, I meditate, my blood pressure is excellent, my pulse is excellent. It's the age of a 30-year-old man, and I'm 46. So what the heck do I have to take this aspirin for to prevent a heart attack? I use preventive medicine. I eat properly, I watch what I drink, I watch my emotions, and I exercise regularly. I don't plan on having a heart attack. If I'm taking the aspirin, it's almost as if subconsciously I'm planning on having the heart attack. Then at a subconscious level, I'm planning on having a disease. Larry, as you and I have mentioned many times, when everybody around you is talking about having a cold, or you yourself have caught one, you say that you verbally state, and then mentally to yourself state, that you're not going to have the cold. Or if you start to have it, you say that you meditate, and it goes away. I work in the medical profession. I work in a place where all we see all day long are injured or diseased people. Why do I don't catch all these colds? It's because I believe my meditation and the way I watch my health. In fact, Larry, I used to have very bad allergies when I was a teenager going into my early 20s. Then I started to have acupuncture and chiropractic manipulation for some damaged bones in my neck, and I did a lot of oriental breathing exercises. I hardly ever have any kind of a thoracic problem now.
Very interesting. Dan Murray, a ufologist, you've been listening in for a little while now. What are your thoughts about this? What do you think about medicine, today's medicine, and the missing links that we have? We have come a long way in medicine. People are living longer, although there are the philosophical debates about when is a person's useful life done. When does When does a morass of tubes coming and going from nowhere and to nowhere into a person's body just to keep them alive, when does that enter into a meaningless existence? And do doctors really kind of know what's going on? What are your thoughts about this?
Well, being a bit of a historian, let me explain where modern medicine in the United States comes from. Basically, it comes from originally European medicine, which were barbers. And the red and white symbol you see in front of a barber shop was a sign of bandages wrapping up a wound. And they were the original doctors. Believe it or not, if you need your legs sewn off, sawed off, that's the guy who did it, and they put alcohol all over it to kill the pain and got you bombed, and because that was their original medicine. The Chinese used opium. Alcohol was the original, painkiller, in opium and other things. All of medicine's cures are all plant derivatives. So to knock the Chinese practice of using herbs is absolutely ridiculous. But let me explain. I have no respect for the medical community whatsoever, almost none, and for a number of reasons. Number one, we are not going forward. We have been going backwards for a very long time. We're going forward after having gone backwards for 2,000 years. Let me put it that way. I'll rephrase that statement. I consider today's doctors a little more than mechanical plumbers, with a few aids from things like aspirin and painkillers and stuff. They made a lot of advancements in drugs. But the average doctor studies 1 to 2 lines on addiction. So when he gives you a drug, he has no idea what he's giving you because he goes completely by the promotional material given to him by the drug company. So as far as side effects and all that goes, he really doesn't know what he's giving you. The pharmacist actually knows more. So that's where modern medicine stands today. You have about 5% of the doctors in the United States understanding what the drugs they give their patients do to them fully. They understand what they are used for, what symptoms. In other words, a person has this symptoms, he knows the promotional brochure given to him from Dow Chemical tells him that it will cure this or take care of these symptoms, and that's the way he does his prescriptions. Most Americans are not aware of that, and that is where it's from. That's why we have so many problems with people taking 17, 18 different types of medications at the same time, all which are not interacting the way they should because they don't interact that way. So you have to look at what I believe the best way to look at the judge a medical community is, as you asked, what do we call quality of life and what do we call lifespan? And it's known that our organs are built to last on this planet 130 years. So in other words, under planetary conditions of pressure and gravity and whatnot, we should live to about 130 years without major organ breakdown.
A quality life.
Yes. Not that you'd be a spring chicken or anything, but you should be able to see well, have regular bowel movements and whatnot, and you shouldn't be having heart attacks or lung problems. In other words, they're built to last without barring any unforeseen problems, like you're working in a coal mine all your life, 130 years. So then we have to look at the other thing. We have recently announced that the average white male in the United States lives to be 72. And there's a big push in this country about, women's medicine. Well, they're outliving us by 8, 9 years. And, they're screaming about breast cancer, 40% rise in breast cancer. That they don't even mention that there's like 150 times worse prostate cancer in men. They talk about the murder rate of women of 4,000. They don't talk about the 16,000 domestic murder rate of men. So we talk about medicine and we're talking politics in this country. We're not talking reality. So what I really want to touch upon is that I go back 2,000 years to my favorite period, ancient Rome, and their doctors using herbal medicines. The average Roman citizen, after fighting out in the field for 20 years in the army, coming back and retiring, lived to be 62. So we managed within 2,000 years to increase it to 72 in the last 40 years, because 100 years ago, the average lifespan in the United States, or white male American, was 36. So they do not impress me. And if you talk to the black community, they're a little upset because their lifespan is much lower. And a lot of that is because of violent factors and whatnot, and and nutrition problems and whatnot. So in other words, I am not impressed by the medical community today. And as I said, we have actually just started to go forward after going backwards.
Very interesting, the concept that we have begun to go forward after going backwards, and we've only now are a little bit beyond the halfway point of reaching our maximum, our maximum quality age of 130 years.
Yeah, I'm another big believer in chiropractor. My mother's had numerous medical problems. Just started going to a chiropractor again, and she's improved greatly. I can't go without one. And it may be added to people out there that are doubters that the AMA lost in criminal court to the Chiropractors Association for fraud, because they were claiming that the chiropractors was a bunch of quacks, and it was a complete fraud, and the federal government has prosecuted them for that, and they have been penalized.
And I just might add that myself, I broke my back at 16, and if it wasn't for a chiropractor, I probably wouldn't be here today. But Damon, you wanted to add something. We're talking about, of course, medicine and the missing link. And if you've just joined our program, this is Omnibus Unlimited. I'm Laurence Nobile, joined by Tom Murray, Dan Murray, Damon Nobile, and John Horrigan. We're talking about medicine and the missing link. Damon, you wanted to add something.
Well, I believe one way to increase our age, our lifespan, would be no meat. Cut out all meat out of our diet, because we are vegetarians. But going back to the chiropractor for a minute, my chiropractor is my doctor. And he's one of the most important people in my life. That's all I have to say.
Very interesting, the concept about eliminating meat from our dietary intake. Although it has been pointed out that meat does hold many very important nutritional substances. Our intestinal tract is designed after a vegetarian. Tom Murray, why don't you talk a little bit about that and whatever else?
Well, not being an intestinal expert, or I don't know if that's the proper terminology, but yeah, one of the hardest substances for the human body to digest that's consumed as food is meat. And one of the most least healthy of all the meats is pork. It takes a tremendous amount of time for the enzymes in the body to digest the pork. Also, the pork fat itself takes about 6 hours to be broken down by the body, whereas other fatty substances such as vegetables and your leaner meats such as fishes and chickens take 2 hours or less. So you have a 3-to-1 ratio as far as time goes there on breaking down of fatty acids in the body. What we're talking about is sort of the missing link in medicine. As Dan Murray mentioned, he's really alluding in a way to the idea of preventive medicine tied to the concept of taking preventive medicine and using it in overall health maintenance for the long term. That if you are healthy over the span of your life, you have a much more worthwhile lifespan, whether you live to be 50 or 1,000. And I feel one of the greatest failures of medicine in the United States is we are so technologically oriented that we'll spend $2 million to build an operating room, but if you come in with $50 to $100 worth of equipment and you can do the same thing to affect the same cure or change, you're ignored because it looks too simple. It's like having a bicycle that goes 60 miles an hour and somebody else builds a car that goes 55. They're more impressed with a 55 mile per hour automobile than they are with a 60 mile per hour bike. Now, in far as the missing link in quantum healing by Deepak Chopra, who's an MD, he's an MD from India who came to the United States and practiced in the Boston area, has been affiliated with Boston hospitals, and studied America in this country. and actually started to learn about Indian medicine while being in the United States, much as I learned my martial arts while living in the United States. But anyway, to quote from his book, Quantum Healing, research on spontaneous cures of cancer conducted in both the United States and Japan has shown that just before the cure appears, almost every patient experiences a dramatic shift in awareness. He knows that he will be healed. It is inside himself, but not limited to himself. It extends beyond his personal boundaries throughout all of nature. This leap in consciousness seems to be the key. So what we're getting here is, I can't cure you, the doctor can't cure you, nobody can cure you, you have to cure yourself. Going a little bit deeper, in religions we call this type of inner awareness, in religion we call this spiritual awareness. In sports, the athlete calls it seasoning, it's experience in knowing about yourself. And in life, over our lifetimes, we call it our life experience. It is the crisis itself that creates the opportunity to grow. By finding within ourselves the root cause or origin of our illness, we also create the energy and the opportunity for healing. As a licensed hypnotist, very often I have hypnotized people with medical problems. After I've hypnotized them, I ask them, what's your medical problem? What is manifesting itself in your life? And they will often give me exactly their medical problem, even if they don't understand it. In hypnosis they do. They can even tell me what the cure would be and what emotion is tied with it. That very often, if you're ill, there's something going on emotionally. This event doesn't merely regulate to just health, but to all aspects of our lives, family, friends, and jobs, our financial security, and even to the joy of life. All the above are affected by and relate to our emotional and attitudinal approach to ourselves. If we really want to be healthy, if we really want to live healthy, productive lives, we have to live, think, and feel healthy and protectively. And we can't turn our health over to the doctor. The doctor, as Larry mentions, is in a sense an auto mechanic. He's given a vehicle. He's asked to repair with stitches, with surgery, or with drugs, repair a damaged part. But you and I operate that automobile. Do we drive it too fast? Do we take it over rocky soil? Do we replace the oil? The oil could be compared to the foods we eat. Do we beat it up, or do we give it enough exercise? We maintain the machinery that we call our body, which isn't a machinery but is a living organism. How much harder to heal than just the automobile?
Extremely interesting and well put, I might add. And it harkens back to our personal discussions about my recent awareness of my ability to prevent colds. I haven't had a cold in a couple of years, only because I'm prepared for these things. But John, we're almost out of time. But John, you've been listening.
I just want to add to that. I haven't had a cold for a year, and coincidentally, it's been a year since I stopped smoking. So I know that my body has made the change. I've seen people around me that still smoke and pick up these colds.
Well, it's interesting, though, because in my personal conversations with Tom, I have mentioned times when I've known that I've picked up a bug. I'm quite aware of having picked up a bug and taken mental steps against it. But very, very interesting. And but that will just about have to end our discussion of medicine and the missing link. I'd like to thank our guests for appearing on tonight's show. Tom Murray, medical technician and psychic healer. Tom, thanks for being here this evening.
Larry, again, thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
UFOlogist Dan Murray. Dan, thank you for being here this evening.
Anytime, Larry.
Weathercaster Damon Nobile has just run outside to take a look at a cloud, so I'd like to thank him for being here as well and putting in his 2 cents. John Horrigan, seeker and producer of Omnibus Unlimited. John, thanks again.
Thank you, Larry. A great topic tonight, Tom, about healing. We're going to be dealing with that more in medicine. Good show.
Good idea. Omnibus Unlimited is seeking artists and videographers to display their works on our visual backdrop of various episodes of Omnibus Unlimited. If you're an artist or videographer and would like to have your work displayed on this show, send your name, address, phone number, and area of study to Omnibus Unlimited, Box 577, Dover, Massachusetts 02030-0577, and perhaps your work will appear on Omnibus Unlimited. For the rest of our audience, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or if you'd like to be a guest on Omnibus Unlimited, that address once again is Omnibus Unlimited, Box 577, Dover, Massachusetts 02030-0577. All letters will be answered on upcoming episodes of Omnibus Unlimited. I'm Laurence Nobile, independent researcher and host of Omnibus Unlimited. For all of us here at Omnibus Unlimited, thank you for your attention, good night, and good luck. Omnibus Unlimited is a presentation of ABT and the Crescent Moon Club.